What's going on, guys? This is Tony Hannity's, and welcome to Tony's Tech Talk Episode 4. Tonight, we'll be talking about which phone I'm deciding on purchasing in the next couple of weeks, and an app update for Google Maps. So let's just start with that. If you're a Google Maps user, whether you're on iOS or Android, you know that, well, pretty much if you're going anywhere, Google Maps is really the map to use. And on, I would say, maybe a bi-monthly basis, ever so often, Google does post their attention to the map applications and do some really nice, innovative updates to it. Right now, one that came out, I guess, today, if you have updated your maps on iOS or Android to version 8.0, you actually have a good amount of new updates. So let's just go ahead and run through these. One new update basically allows you to be notified on the screen which lane you should be in order to make your next exit. So if you take into account you're on a major highway, say Interstate I-5 or 280 here in the Bay Area, and you're like, okay, I need to take the Shasta exit, whatever, and oh crap, there it is. With Google Maps, as long as you have your destination punched in, on the screen it'll actually say you should be in this lane. Plus, if there's traffic, it'll even tell you which lane you should be in to maximize your trip so you can minimize the amount of time you're in traffic and better serve your time in the correct lane for the fastest route to your destination. The issue that I have with this, now Google isn't the first to put this on a navigation system, but the issue I have with this is because Google, probably the Google Maps application, whether you're on Android or iOS, is probably the most popular navigation apps that people use. If everybody sees, oh, I need to be in the third lane, everyone's moving to the third lane. Oh, I need to be in the first lane, everyone's going back to the first lane. Oh crap, I don't have carpool, so I'm going back to the second lane. Oh, I should be in the fourth lane, there's my exit. I don't know, maybe I'm thinking about it too much, but it's just something that occurred to me when this announcement came up. I think it's great, it's awesome, and I'm totally going to use it because with my job I travel and I take highways and byways every single day. Although I do know where I'm going, thankfully, by now, but just in the event that Google can tell me, especially in a traffic scenario, which lane I should be in just based off of the traffic up ahead, maybe something I can't see, I'll trust Google and say, okay, I'll just stay here or I'll move over one, whatever. Another update that was included, again, for free is that you have a little bit more offline map capability. So if you already know ahead of time you are going to vacation here, you're going to do a road trip here, you're going to hike there, ahead of time from the application itself, you can say, okay, I just want a map of Toronto and put this offline. Especially if you're going to go in an area where there is no signal whatsoever, or if you're just trying to minimize your location-based data and things of that. Going offline, it's been available before. Now it's just a little bit easier to use. Also, one thing that was very interesting to me was that if you use the Uber service in cities like San Francisco, New York, LA, you obviously have the Uber app installed on your phone. But now with the Uber app on your phone in correlation with the Google Maps app, if you are looking at a destination, let's say the MoMA in San Francisco, and you're on the other side of San Francisco, in the Google Maps app, it'll know, oh, you have the Uber app installed. So here, this is how long it would take if you were to walk. This is how long it would take if you were to use a bus. Or if you want Uber, this is how long it would take for Uber to get you there. And more likely than not, Uber is going to be quicker, but then just be fair warned that it's a pretty penny. You're traveling in style. It's a mini limo in a sense. So if you haven't ever tried Uber, go treat yourself. I think it's like $35 a ride or something like that. Yeah, I know it sounds expensive, but if it's you and like 3 other friends and you're trying to get from one end of the city to another, you don't want to walk. Your friend has like high heels on or whatever. I don't know why he has high heels on, but he does. And okay, let's just Uber this, and we'll get to the bar that way. And you pull up in the bar in an Uber car, and it's just it's basically a chauffeur-driven car at your beck and call. So it's pretty damn good. So it's pretty cool. And then a few other things like the ability to kind of edit the date and time of incoming and outbound trains if you take the shuttle or rather the subway on a daily basis. So again, Google is doing awesome stuff in the transit realm. The fact that they've made this kind of pseudo agreement with Uber, I don't necessarily think that this means that Google is going to acquire Uber, although I wouldn't put it past them that they haven't thought about it. But I think that this partnership is going to expand possibly to I don't know, other countries, other services. I don't know, maybe even Lyft is going to get in on the deal. So we'll see how it goes. So I would say the bulk of what I want to talk about tonight, although the Maps update is coming out, it is rolling out. Right now, I have not received it on my Note 3, so it's rolling out. Just be patient. You'll get it eventually. Good on you. So moving on, I have an upgrade rather, coming to me in about 2 weeks. I think it's May 15th. So we're looking at 9 days away from now. I currently have the Note 3. I do have to send it back to Samsung. So Samsung, I appreciate your willingness to let me try it out. I love the phone. I really do appreciate you letting me test it out with all the myriad of cases that I have for the Note 3. It's been a blast. I believe I've sold the Note 3 just by having it being in the Best Buys that I go to. It's like, oh, since he has the Note 3, I want a Note 3 too, because everyone wants the phone that this guy has. So with that being said, what should my next phone be? My wife just got the Galaxy S5, and although I think it's a beautiful phone, there are some design issues, aesthetics that I'm not too keen on. The heart rate monitor, she was definitely going to use it more than I do. Although we do work out almost the exact same amount, she's a little bit more in tune with wanting to know what her heart rate is and all that kind of jazz. The fingerprint scanner, neither of us really care about that. The on-screen pattern lock is probably the best method for her, just at a quick glance, and it's a very easy one-handed way to unlock the screen. I mean, we could go on and on about the S5 versus some others, and I think that's kind of why we're here. So yeah, I mean, the camera's really good and outdoorsy kind of photography, and the HDR shots are amazing. It takes HDR shots almost instantaneously, which if you tried HDR on a Galaxy S4 or even on the Note 3, they're nice, but it takes a bit. And because it's essentially 5 photographs molded into one, and I'm taking pictures of my daughter ain't standing still. She's going off and doing her thing. So if I could get something that is like that, then bada bing, bada boom, good to go. And also with the new updated, well, I guess the Note 3 on Verizon doesn't have it yet, but with the new Google camera, I could do that whole kind of After Effects photo U-focus, where you can specify the point of origin or the point of focus, and do a depth of field kind of effect, all in software, but I have to get KitKat. That is one thing that kind of set the HTC One M8 apart from everything else, because it did have those 2 cameras on the back, because it had that ability to take that picture and say, oh, actually I don't want the foreground focus, I want the background in focus. Well, now everybody's doing it. Nokia is doing it, HTC, Samsung. I'm sure Apple is going to get in on the game eventually. And that's not to say it's a bad idea. I'm just saying it can be done through software and pretty good. The Google camera does a pretty good job at it. But which brings me to Nokia. Nokia just announced, well, it's not coming to Verizon anytime soon, but they've had the 1520, which is the huge phablet Windows Phone 8 on AT&T. And at least for Verizon, all we've got, and I say we because I don't think I'm going to be leaving Verizon anytime soon, but all we've got is the Icon. And I say that with no disrespect to the Icon. I kind of want the 1520. I want the 1520. It's such a humongous phone, and it's way bigger than my Note 3. I don't know, but I'm just so used to the large screen that I don't mind it. I don't mind being the guy with the big phone in the room and say, my phone can beat up your phone. I don't know what it is, but so I've been ingrained in the Amazon, in the Android ecosystem since 08 to 09. Before that, it was BlackBerry. I've dabbled with iOS to a certain degree as well too, simultaneously, and Windows Phone was something that I've always respected, and I always felt that they were the underdog and they were doing pretty good for what they had, and now it's just growing at a rapid pace, and especially with the acquisition from Nokia to Microsoft. Now it's Microsoft Mobile, Oi, and all that kind of jazz. I'm excited to see what's happening in the future. So does that mean that I should get a phone now from Nokia or Microsoft, and hopefully I'll get all the updates? Or am I going to be hindered because I'm using Verizon? And no offense, Verizon, but you're kind of notorious for not pushing out updates kind of on time. Samsung says, hey, we have this update. Verizon, hold on, wait, we're playing video games. Things like that. But then I do believe that at least with, similar to iOS, with Windows Phone updates, they just come in. You could just get them. So if someone wants to correct me or give me the 411 on Windows Phone updates, if it's held by the carrier or if you can just update when the OEM updates it, that would be kind of cool. But yeah, I don't mind having two phones, and that's the other thing too. If I can keep my phone and my phone number with Verizon, I'll get a run-of-the-mill Android. I'll probably get the M8 because this one right here, this one's on Sprint. And I gotta say, here in the Northern Bay Area, it's really difficult for me to represent the awesomeness of this phone when I can't even jump online and say, check out the speed of this processor. It's hello, it's very difficult to, not only for me to review it, but when I'm showing friends and colleagues, like, wow, this is actually pretty cool. Wait a minute, how come your 3-year-old phone is faster than this one? Oh, it's because you have even T-Mobile, Metro PCS. So Sprint, do what you got to do, but give me 4G and give it to me like solid, like a good one. But yeah, so I'll probably get the M8 on Verizon, and then as a secondary phone for my additional line of work outside this and whatnot, I'll probably get a Windows Phone, just because, like I said, I do use the Windows Phone ecosystem. I've got my Surface tablet here. I've got my Windows computer. I love Windows 8.1, and I'm getting used to having all the live tiles and whatnot. So yeah, I think it would be a good idea for me to actually have that. But my company's putting me in a training session in Seattle in a couple of weeks. And I don't know what we're training on, but I'm getting a lot of training regarding Nokia stuff. So I don't know if we're going to be talking about that, and maybe they want to be nice and give me a Nokia phone. I don't know. We'll see. But that's just me hoping. Icon, please. That'd be cool. Yeah. So May 15th, that's actually before I go to Seattle. So I don't know. I do know that I have to send back the Note 3, so I'm probably going to downgrade and just use my wife's old Galaxy S3 for a little bit. Oh, I'm not excited about that whatsoever. But I do hope that all my Family Guy games, or game rather, and all the achievements have been saved, so I can just continue on from where I left off. All right, so let's go ahead and check out the chat room here and see if there's anybody that has said anything regarding the Google Maps update, or well, let's see here. My wife has texted me and said, I don't need a second phone. I'm going to send her a happy face with teeth. Like that. All right. We do have a we do have a message from Bruce here. Yeah, Bruce, I agree with you. Sprint, I'm sorry. When I contacted HTC regarding reviewing and testing out the phone, I did request a Verizon. All they had at the time was Sprint. The phone itself, the hardware, the software, impeccable. On Wi-Fi, it's awesome. And I use my Google Voice number and everything, so it's all goodness down the heart. Leave my Wi-Fi area. No network at all. So all the Google Maps update that I mentioned and everything it, yeah, whatever. But I do trust that. And the only issue that I have, and I hate to be a downer on HTC, because I started Android with HTC. HTC was there from the beginning. I mean, we know this with the G1 and all that jazz. But right now, I'm not saying that they're going anywhere. I'm not saying that they're going to go. They're going to fail because the M8, their numbers haven't been as good as HTC was hoping or expecting. I think they just reached the million mark or something like that. I forget. It was, but they reached the milestone, but it was like weeks after the launch, and they beat Samsung, and they launched the phone the same day that they announced it, which is completely unheard of. I think the only other phone that did that was the Nexus, but that was only online. No one had it in the store. So HTC had the leg up on everybody, and still, because of marketing and unfortunate failures that they've had in the past, not just on marketing but phones, people aren't quite sure if they should trust HTC. And I'm just saying. Oh, the other one too is the OnePlus One or the Oppo Find 7A. Both of which, if I were to get those phones, it's not the fact that I have to spend $300 without a contract. I love that. I love that part. $300-$400 with no contract, sign me up. It's that I have to go with AT&T or T-Mobile. And I know I said I'll probably be looking into a second phone, but again, around here, I guess T-Mobile and AT&T probably going to be a little bit better than Sprint. My friend has T-Mobile and he gets 4G with no problem where I'm sitting right here. So I guess that would be okay. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. And let's see here. This is a question that is not tech related, but it is interesting. So Zena is asking, how large do you plan for your ear holes to be finally? So for those who don't notice, my ears are gauged, and so these are just zeros, and I'm probably going to go to 00. So yeah, just one more, just a little bit larger, but not too big, because I am put in front of hundreds of people every day, and I have to have some sort of corporate formality, if you will. And although to be tatted and everything is not a faux pas so much anymore, there are certain people that might look at this, and if they can fit a pencil through the ear hole, they might not want to speak with that person as a training director or manager ever again. So, yeah, I'm just going to go maybe a little bit larger, but that's really about it. Bruce, you said with the new Google advertising input, HTC will be able to stay in third. That might be true. Yeah, so Samsung, LG, HTC, I mean, those would be, unless you're including iOS and like the top manufacturers of cell phones. I mean, you'd have to include Nokia in there too, because they are the largest cell phone manufacturer. You know, if you take into account Asha, Nokia X, and the X Plus. But in the smartphone realm, yeah, they're probably a distant third. I'm really interested in seeing the G3, which we've seen some leaked pictures of. I know they have an event here in San Francisco on May 28th. I did get a notification from Samsung. I'm going to be at the Samsung event on May 28th as well too, and maybe I can just skip over to the what's it called? The LG one if it's close by, but I'll let you guys know more about that too. But yeah. So it looks like probably going to go with the HTC One as my main phone. Going to get a Verizon Lumia Icon as my secondary / business phone. I really do enjoy having two phones. I don't know what it is. It's just like makes me feel extra special. I don't really need it, but whatever. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. Last thing I want to relay here, Zena says this: I don't have a cell phone. I use Google Maps prior to my trip. How come sometimes they leave out some very important instructions? I'm handicapped. Okay, and you can't get out the car to go to go to a place and ask for directions. You know what, Zena? That is a great question. I know that one consideration that Google Maps has, at least on the navigational side, if you do use it with a cell phone, there are certain settings that you can set for accessibility. If it's not right there front page, it should be in the settings. If not, but that is something that you definitely might want to bring up to the Google Maps team. And the beautiful thing I feel about Google Plus is that a lot of those guys on Google Maps are on Google Plus and active. And if you just kind of seek them out and say, hey, you know, do you have any settings for handicapped individuals on the website? And you know, just kind of ping them back and forth and see if someone answers you. So at first glance, yeah, I don't think the website really gives that as an option because their main focus is just kind of a bird's eye view, and then you have, you know, walking, driving, bus, and kind of, you know, just having everything all pre-planned out. But on the go, I have this feeling that I remember seeing something that it said, you know, it said like there are certain accessibility factors to this building, like there's a ramp here, something to that effect. It might not have been Google Maps now that I think about it, but it was a mobile app. So Zena, I'll try to remember. I'll try to figure that out, what that was, but yeah, okay. I'll definitely try to figure that out. So hit me up on Google Plus, and we'll continue on there. So yeah, that is pretty much it, guys. I have another video to do. I'm doing another video which is non-tech related. So if you like music, and Bruce, you're up in Seattle. Well, I guess your job is making you go to Seattle. But if you like different kinds of music, I'm doing something that's completely kind of well, maybe not avant-garde, but it's a little different. Instead of singing the song, I lip sync the song. Now, my wife says I have a beautiful singing voice, but she has to say that by law. She is my wife. But it's about almost 11 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time right now, and when I record, I don't want to wake up the whole house. So I sing very angry metalcore music, but I lip sync it. So it looks awesome in the video, but out here it's none the wiser. So go check that out, and I'm going to do another one just now before I hit the hay. So you guys have been great. You have a good one. Thank you very much for watching, and I will talk to you later. Take care. Bye-bye.